living alone in an RV can be really scary, especially if you do it like I do, going as far out forest roads as I can, going deep into the desert so that when I step out my door, I don't see another person. I know for some people that can seem really spooky. And you know what? It is a little spooky. I know this might come as a shock to you, but I was even a little scared in the beginning. I didn't just wake up one day and go out and start doing everything by myself without a little bit of fear. So today I'm going to tell you the 5 spookiest things about living alone in an RV, and more importantly, how to overcome them. And I guarantee the spookiest things about living in an RV aren't what you think. So stay tuned and find out.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Got to find your own.
Did you hear that? I heard a strange noise. That's spooky thing number 1 about living alone in an RV. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're going to hear strange and spooky noises, especially when you first get on the road. And especially if you're in a new RV, you don't know all the sounds of it yet, and you don't know all the sounds of your surroundings outside. Every little noise outside is going to make you be on alert and be scared, most likely, right? What is that creaking? What is that branch? What is that wildlife? You know, you'll get to know what different wildlife sounds like. You get to know what a deer chucking or whatever a deer does sounds like. You'll know what coyotes sound like, and you'll learn that they're nothing to be afraid of. It's going to take you a little while to adjust to the sounds, both inside and outside your RV, but just know that this is just the process of getting to know your surroundings. And I always say that, you know, you can be on alert. You can, if you hear something that sounds really weird, like a car door slamming or like a voice. I even heard something one time that sounded like a woman screaming in a truck that went by in the middle of in the night. That was weird, but it must have been a wild animal because we watch too many horror shows. We hear too much weird stuff on the news. And in fact, those weird things don't really happen every day. And there's usually a logical explanation for everything. So that's spooky thing number 1 about living alone in an RV is just be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself, and know that it's just going to take a little while for you to get used to the noises around you. But again, be aware of your surroundings. If you do hear anything that sounds like really out of place, then you might need to take precautions. And I've done a lot of videos about staying safe on the road, and I'll put those in the video description below so that you can watch those, so that you know how to be aware of your surroundings and know when it is time to go. And the second spookiest thing about living solo in an RV is that oftentimes you feel like you're being watched. I've had a couple situations where I really felt like I was being watched. And I don't know if I was. I live to tell about it, so I really don't know if something or somebody was watching me. But just know that that's also pretty normal. I think especially if you're not used to being out in the boondocks like this, if you're not used to being alone, you're used to being in crowded areas where there's always people around, it might be quite natural to feel like people are watching you because you're always surrounded by people. And this is, to be honest with you, I think this is one of the reasons I like going as remote as I do, because the chances of somebody watching me when I'm, miles from the closest person, the closest house, the closest road, the chances that somebody is watching me are very, very slim. And oftentimes I think if I do feel like I'm being watched, it's probably wildlife. A curious bear wants to know who's in the area, maybe even a cougar who's passing through, is like, what's going on? And again, I can't say this enough, that wildlife wants to avoid us as much as we want to avoid them. And I've said this also before, that for as many bears as I have seen in my travels and in my hikes, probably 10 times more than that have seen me, and I never even knew they were there. So it's pretty normal to feel like you're being watched. I think that's part of just shedding society, shedding the indoctrination of, especially women, we should be afraid that, we're unsafe, that somebody is watching us and stalking us because of too many Lifetime movies, right? And too much sensationalized news. Women are in danger and there's always danger lurking around every corner trying to hurt us. That's not true. It's not true. The incidences of women getting harmed, or anybody getting harmed, especially out in places like this, are extremely rare. And this is worth repeating. Women are more likely to get harmed by men they know than men they don't know. So that feeling that you're being watched is just another thing. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself and say, okay, all right, I feel like something is watching me, you know, and if you feel like it, go out and do your due diligence, walk around, see what's around you. That should be your first step anyway when you get to any new camping spot. That's the first thing I always do. Get out, walk around, you know, mile radius or whatever, because I do want to know what's around me. And that helps put my mind at ease as well. There's nothing around. I haven't passed a camper in 5 miles. There's no houses. Nothing is watching me. And that helps kind of comfort myself, right? And get me out of that, oh no, something is watching me. So just know that that is normal. It can be spooky, but just be kind and gentle and patient with yourself, and know that over time that feeling will go away too. Just know that that is a natural part of getting used to being alone, especially out here. And the third spooky thing about being alone in an RV is being miles and miles from help. Wait, okay, well that's spooky. I just got an alert that something is moving inside my RV. That's really scary. I don't know what the heck could be moving inside my RV. Let me take a look. It's Sadie. Look, it's Sadie. So I have the Waggle RV mini cam on. I thought Sadie was out here with me running around the woods, but she's inside the RV. And the Waggle mini cam let me know that there was movement. Look at, she's just sitting on the bed. I'll go get her here. Let's go get her. Come on, my little ghost. You scared me. I thought there was a ghost in here. But check it out. It was just the Waggle RV minicam. I had it turned on. And this is one way that I use Waggle to keep Sadie safe. The camera works with the Waggle app on my phone, so that whether I'm out roaming around in the woods or at the doctor's or getting groceries, all I have to do is log on to the app and I can see Sadie in real time, so I can see what she's up to and make sure she's safe. This is a wonderful bundle with the traditional Waggle pet monitor. This is what monitors the temperature inside my RV, and I can set up alerts so I can be notified, just like it just notified me that there was movement inside the RV. The Waggle pet monitor can alert me if it gets too hot, too cold. It'll alert me if the power goes out, so if I have to leave Sadie behind in the RV and I'm plugged in with the heater on or the air conditioner on, the Waggle pet monitor will let me know that the power went out, so that I know that I need to get back and make sure Sadie is safe. So with the camera and the pet monitor, I am rest assured that no matter where my travels take me, Sadie is going to be safe. If you want peace of mind that your fur baby is going to be safe, whether you travel in an RV or even if you live in a sticks and bricks, they have version for sticks and bricks as well. Go ahead and get started with your RV minicam and your pet monitor today by using the link in the video description below, and you're going to get a special discount from my audience only using the discount code right here, and again, the link in the video description below. Thanks Waggle for keeping Sadie safe and for sponsoring today's video. We got more spookies. We were right in the middle of a spooky thing. Let's go finish that thought. Girl, come on. Where was I? Now that I know there's no ghosts inside my RV, it's just the Sadie ghost. The third spooky thing about solo RVing on my list is being miles and miles away from help should anything go wrong. If I get a flat tire, check, been there, done that. If I have a dead battery, check, been there, done that. If I'm broken down in the middle of nowhere, knock on wood, I don't even want to talk about that one. Or what if something goes wrong? What if I have a health issue? What if? You know what? There's a million what ifs. There are a million things that can go wrong. I choose to not focus on the worst case scenario. I have an emergency kit that includes a tire, repair kit that includes an air compressor so that I can charge up my tires. I just did the review about the jump starter for the battery if I need a jump start by myself out in the middle of nowhere. I have the Spot GPS device, which I can push an SOS button and a search and rescue can come and get me. I always have a cell signal now with my Starlink, so no matter what, I can always get a hold of people. And if this is something that is paralyzing you in fear, oh, I can't go out in the middle of nowhere because I'm afraid, what if something happens? Here is my biggest piece of advice. Learn how to rely on yourself. Learn how to trust yourself. And that trust in yourself doesn't come overnight. It comes by pushing the envelope. It comes by getting out of your security, out of your safety zone. Stepping out of your box. Every time you do something you didn't think you could do, you get stronger. You get more self-reliant. You become more trusting in yourself and your abilities. And that's how I look at it. No matter what the universe throws at me, and it has. I've had busted transmissions. I've had busted alternators. I've gotten stuck. I have gotten stuck in the middle of nowhere by myself. I have had a lot of things happen out in the middle of nowhere by myself, or even on the road by myself, and you know what? I've always been able to get out of it. I've always been able to pull myself together to get the resources that I need to be able to rescue me. Nobody's coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself, and you need to just learn how to rescue yourself. And that even means calling the appropriate help so that you can get to safety. That's it. It's about trusting yourself. Having the necessary tools, having the necessary emergency kit, making sure that you can get in touch with search and rescue or loved ones no matter where you are, and that might be a personal GPS beacon or it might be Starlink. Have a way to always be able to get help no matter where you are. And in the meantime, just go out and step out of your comfort zone and build your own confidence and your own strength. Nobody's coming to rescue you but you. That's the third spooky thing, and it's not that spooky after a while. Once you get yourself out of a few rough spots, you learn. You can do it. You got what it takes. You're such a good girl. You making sure no ghosts get me? Number 4 on my list of spooky things about solo, or even not so solo, RVing, is that especially if you go boondocking like I do, and I know a lot of you want to, but you're afraid to, but you will see darkness like you have never seen before. You're gonna need to learn how to not be afraid in the dark, alone in the woods at night, period. And instead of letting your mind go in all the different directions that it could go, from all the scary movies and all the sensationalized news that want to keep people at home in boxes in debt, we don't want hobbies like this. We want hobbies like shopping, right? That's what society is built upon. That's what capitalism hates hikers. Well, hikers spend a lot of money on gear, but they would rather have you home scared going to the mall. Well, even though the mall's not so safe these days, right? But you're going to see darkness. And instead of letting your mind go in it's dark out there and there's scary things out there that want to get me, bundle up, step outside, and look at the sky. That is going to cure you. When you go out and you see the Milky Way, or you see Aurora Borealis for the first time, or you see the moon and the planets that you've never been able to see before, especially if you live in an urban area, I guarantee that's going to cure your fear. It's going to cure your fear. All you have to do is go out and look up and realize you're not alone. Many, many of your ancestors are out here walking with you. The people who walked this land before we did, who looked at those same stars. And it kind of really just puts everything in perspective about how little we are, really, and really kind of insignificant. And I've talked about that before. I'm kind of insignificant out here, wandering in the woods under the stars by myself. The fact that there might be trouble lurking around every corner and that every stranger I meet wants to hurt me is kind of a self-centered approach to living. right? And I've said this before, people are out here, if a truck shows up in the middle of the night, they're just doing their thing, hunting or whatever they're doing, and I just happen to be here. They're not here to hurt me. They're here doing their thing, and it's up here that I need to be worried about. That's what's gonna cause me to live in fear, not what's out there, because I'm just an insignificant little speck on this tiny little planet, one of who knows how many in the universe. And the pitch black is nothing to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. Go outside, enjoy it. That's my advice for embracing the darkness. And that's the perfect lead-in to my final spookiest, the most spooky thing. This is the most spooky thing about solo RVing. And that is what goes on up here. The haunted house in your own mind that is indoctrinated to make you fear. Also, part of it is survival. We have survived over millennia by fearing the unknown, by fearing what is different. It is natural. It is what keeps us safe. But that doesn't mean we have to hide from it. It doesn't mean we have to have preconceived ideas when we meet strangers, when we meet people who look a certain way. It just means that we need to stop the old indoctrination that tells us we should live in fear. Fear is the cause of so much harm and so much heartache and so much self-deprivation when you think about it. What is fear holding you back from doing? So when you're out here, and I made a lot of videos about this my first couple years on the road. Oh my gosh, there's a truck over there. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? And I always made these videos because I wanted to show that all of the fear lived in here. That it was just people going about their lives, doing their things, and that I had to get this under control before I could be free. Before I could live freely in my life on my own terms, I had to get rid of the messages in here that kept me enslaved in a system I didn't want to be a part of anymore. That system that tells me I need to fear certain people, certain things, especially as a woman. There's danger lurking around every corner. I still see on different groups for nomads and RVers that women should be afraid. I saw one guy, no older woman in her right mind would be living in a van in the middle of the desert. Why does society want to keep us scared? It's not to protect us, because if they wanted to protect us, they would just tell people to stop hurting us, right? So, you know what? Yes, bad things do happen. Accidents happen, bad people do bad things to people. But I have been doing this for almost 10 years. I am not the only one. There are women all throughout our community, many of them on YouTube, who have been out here solo for years doing this and have been safe and fine. We listen to our gut. We go when we know it's time to go. And again, I'll put links to all of these videos that I have done about that in the video description below. But we have been out here and we've been able to be safe because we have learned to trust our gut, to rein all this haunted, ghosty mess in our heads in, and to realize the world is not a big, bad, scary place. Go out, expect great things, expect freedom, expect greatness, but prepare for worst case scenario. Prepare, have an emergency kit, have a way to communicate, have a friend that you keep in touch with if that makes you feel better. There were years, literally years on the road where nobody, not a single soul on this earth knew where I was at any given moment. True story. True story. First few years on the road, I didn't keep in touch with a lot of people. Nobody knew where I was 99.9% of the time. And look at me. I have lived to tell about it. So don't let your brain stop you from doing the things you want to do. Don't let the indoctrination of other people's fears. I went through, real quick, in closing, I went through something recently where I was talking about some things I want to do in the future with some people in my real life. And a group of men, couple men, 2 or 3 men, all of them giving me every reason under the sun why I can't do it. You can't do that. You don't want to do that. You shouldn't do that. You don't want to do that. Oh my gosh, you can't do that. Literally, me, independent me, who has done so much by myself. Men close to me, family, friends, and relatives telling me you can't. So I am telling you this because if they are even telling me this, who's been doing this alone for 10 years, I can just imagine the things many of you are going to hear. Do not let other people's fears stop you from living your best life. All right, those are my 5 spooky things about living alone in an RV. Did you notice the trend there? None of them had to do with other people. None of them. It all had to do with trusting yourself, being prepared, building your confidence, and saving yourself. What scares you the most about anything that you want to do in life, whether it be camping or hiking or living in an RV or a van? What scares you the most? And what are you doing to get over that fear? That's what I want to hear. All right, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, leave a comment below. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. It really helps me if you subscribe. Hype this video. You can hype these videos now. That really helps a lot. Hype my videos and share them with everybody you know. And have a spooky, haunted Halloween week. Hey, and go ahead and watch my Lake Shawnee series. There were 4 or 5 videos about that time that I camped in an abandoned amusement park that is supposedly haunted. I hope this microphone. So go ahead and check that out, and I'll put that in the video description below as well. And I'll see you Sunday night. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Mwah. Boo! Oh, and look at my best dog. I know, I'm sorry I left you inside. Look at my best dog. What you doing? You're such a good girl. You making sure no ghosts get me? Is there a critter? You gonna make sure no ghosts get me?